Friends, we're also streaming on YouTube, so we are all on camera right now.
Mazel tov and good luck, Nathan.
Thanks.
Nathan, would you say hello to us again?
Suzanne, can you hear us? We just want to test Nathan's sound if you're on mute and say some things.
Yep, we hear you perfectly. Sounds good on our end? Is it good?
Ken, are you trying to talk? Because I can't hear you.
Can't hear
I
you,
was
Kenner.
talking. Yes.
Hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, it sounds good here.
You
Great.
still can't hear us?
No, you're great. You're great now.
Oh, okay.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I've muted all of you this morning. Rabbi will, but giving you the ability to unmute yourselves. Rabbi will announce at various points during the service when you should do that. Shabbat Shalom.
And we'll now have a welcome from our board member, Marshall Kisner.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. My name is Marshall Kisner. My daughter Mia is next to me here. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Congregation Beth Chaim, it's an honor to welcome you to Zoom this morning to celebrate with the Nidek family as Nathan is called to the Torah. We want to maintain a warm and welcoming feeling from these services and create a sacred virtual space that will inspire prayer. Please help us by staying muted unless the clergy invites you to unmute and participate. You're welcome, of course, to write messages of congratulations and encouragement in the chat box. While we will not be able to hear one another, we would love for you to sing along with us. All the liturgy will be displayed on the screen to help you follow along. If you have any trouble with the technology, our Director of Lifelong Learning, Ann Berman Waldorf, will be happy to assist you. Thank you for joining us in prayer and celebration this morning.
They're coming up in a minute.
Ashrei yoshvei beitecha, u'yehalelu chasela. Ashrei yoshvei beitecha, u'yehalelu chasela. Ashrei, ashrei, ashrei yoshvei beitecha. Ashrei, ashrei, ashrei yoshvei beitecha.
morning, everyone. My name is Adina Blum. I'm the rabbi of Congregation Beth Chaim, and I'm joined by Stuart Binder, our cantor, and Ann Berman-Waldorf, our director of lifelong learning. We're so excited to be celebrating Nathan this morning and joining together in prayer. Just a few reminders that we are recording and live streaming our service today, and we'll ask you all to stay muted until it is time to congratulate Nathan out loud. Also, you may notice that it looks as if I am in the sanctuary of Congregation Beth Chaim. This is my virtual background, but I did want to really bring in this visual image because of the Nidix family's history at Beth Chaim. Nathan's mom, Suzanne, became bat mitzvah and was confirmed on this bima, and Nathan's big brothers, Gabe and Skylar, also became b'nai mitzvah. And so even though we weren't able to celebrate in this sacred space together physically today, we want to really create this virtual sacred space and really honor that family history for all of you. So thank you for joining us today. We're trying to keep everyone safe and secure on Zoom. So if you see any funny business, please let us know. And Ann Berman-Waldorf will be happy to help with any of your technological needs going forward. We're now going to go from the profane or the mundane to the sublime as we hear blessings from Suzanne and Scott.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. How about that? The day has finally come. Take a hold of all the opportunities, Nathan, that lie before you. As your toy, if everybody remembers the toy, the movie, the toy, it's an inside joke, right? As your toy, I've enjoyed joining you on your community service, raising hundreds of dollars for Arm in Arm that went towards hundreds of pounds of fresh produce for their clients that are in need. I have seen your growth to date, so as you venture into manhood, please again, take hold of all the opportunities that lie before you. We love you.
That just took the words out of my mouth. The day finally came is right. You practiced enough to be practically a rabbi yourself at this point. Rabbi Blum's going to have some competition. But your studies definitely paid off. You've been studying hard. I've been watching you on your own. You haven't been told half the time. You picked up your books, you studied, you learned your prayers, you did what you had to do. Becoming a bar mitzvah is a huge milestone that comes with a lot of life's lessons, especially during a pandemic. I hope it's taught you to appreciate all the gifts life has to offer. Be grateful that although COVID forced us to change the bar mitzvah date and has prevented some people from physically being here, modern technology has enabled them to participate in your service today. And it's given you more time to study, which is always a help. Be grateful that our family and friends who have endured some serious illnesses this past year, including COVID, are doing well and here to celebrate this special occasion with all of us. The one thing I noticed you taking a huge appreciation to is remote learning. To be able to sleep in a little longer, get up and go to school in your pajamas with a fresh cup of coffee and be done by noon is the one thing any 13-year-old is going to cherish and embrace during a pandemic. You made some pretty sweet lemonade out of those lemons. I hope you can take that experience and apply it to every difficult situation that you might encounter. We love you so much and we're very proud of your accomplishment today and every other day. We love you.
And with those words of blessing enveloping you, your parents are now going to bestow upon you your talit, your prayer shawl. All right, Nathan, your talit blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tivanu l'hita te'efat tzitzit.
Amen. And in gratitude for this special time and occasion, please lead us in Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu uzman hazeh.
Amen. Now you can hug your parents and can take the spotlight.
Where are you?
Right.
Hi. Yeah. Okay.
And I just want to say, I love how your talit matches your kippot.
Yeah, that was kind of tough to do. Kind of a loud color.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, you'll lead us in your English reading.
I enter the sacred place to voice the longing of my heart in prayer. I sacred company, I offer my love to the Holy One. I devote myself this morning to B'Salem and song, study and prayer. May my heart be lifted, may my thoughts be deepened, and may my soul like an eagle soar.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who formed the human body with skill, creating the body's many pathways and openings. It is well known before your throne of glory that if one of them wrongly opened or closed, it would be impossible to endure to stand before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals all flesh, working wondrously. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan l'sech v'ivina l'chachin ben yom u'ben layla.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokah haaretz al hamayim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam amechin mitzadei gaver.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten layaif koach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hame'avir shenei meinai utnama me'afapai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sha'asani b'tzelem Elohim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani ben horim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sha'asani Yisrael.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael b'gvura.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Amen.
Just a moment ago, we had heard from Nathan's brother, Skylar, and now we'll hear from Nathan's mom, Suzanne.
The covenant calling and the covenant work goes on each act of teaching and learning of the Torah, through which at the same time God is still being revealed.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם עולל מעלמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו אלא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תאמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן.
In the beginning, even then, a new light was shone for the righteous, a promise that your light would become the catalyst for first order, and then for hope. Author of language and light, help us to use words as you have, to cast light into dark waters and draw out justice and truth.
Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levacha v'chol nafshecha v'chol meodecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levavecha v'dibarta bam v'shefteha b'veitecha uvlechtecha baderech uvshechtecha uvkumecha Uksartam le'yod al yedecha, ve'hayu letatafot bein einecha, uktatam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. Leman tiskeru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'yetem kedushim Elohechem, ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti echem me'eretz Mitzrayim, le'yot lechem le'Elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem.
We'll now hear from Nathan's brother, Gabe. And Nathan's sister with 4 legs.
Emet, there is no place where you are not. Even in the wilderness, there is your word.
Gabe.
All these two?
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילתו וספר, נורא תהילתו ספר. שירה חדשה, שיפור גאולים, לשמך שפתיים, יחד כולם הודו, והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני Yisrael, Tzur Yisrael, Kuma Bezrat Yisrael, Tzur Yisrael, Tzur Yisrael, Kuma Bezrat Yisrael, Ufetech Neummecha Yehuda v'Yisrael. Go aleinu, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo Kedosh Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael. Tehilatecha, Ufiyagi Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai, na 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 Satai Tika, na 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 Ufiyagi Tehilatecha, Ufiyagi Tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imeinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanurah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Ekonei Hakol Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot Umevi Geulah Livnei V'neihem L'man Shemo B'Ahava Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayeh HaKol Atavrav Lehoshia Morid HaTal Mechalkel Hayim Bechesed Mechayeh HaKol Berachemim Rabim Somech Noflim V'Refel Holim Umatir Asurim Umekayim Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Bal Givarot Umidom Melach Melech Minit Umekayim Umatzmi Yeshua V'ne'eman Atah L'chayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh HaKol.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה ואמר, קדוש קדוש קדוש, אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו ומלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We will now hear from Nathan's father, Scott.
We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time.
Find favor, Adonai our God, with your people Israel, and accept their prayer and love. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable. God, who is near to all who call, turn lovingly to your servants. Pour out your spirit upon us.
שים, שים, שים שלום, שים שלום טובה וברכה. שים, שים, שים שלום טובה וברכה. חן וחסד ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל עמך. ברכנו יוצרנו כולנו כאחד באור פניך. שים, שים, שים שלום. שים שלום טובה וברכה. שים, שים, שים שלום טובה וברכה. כי באור פניך נתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו תורת חיים ואהבת חסד וצדקה וברכה ורחמים וחיים ושלום. שים, שים, שים שלום. שים שלום טובה וברכה. שים, שים, שים שלום טובה וברכה. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. שים, שים, שים שלום. שים שלום טובה וברכה. שים, שים, שים שלום טובה וברכה.
We now take a few moments to sit in silence, to offer up the prayers of our own hearts, and to send our quiet wishes of congratulation to Nathan.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי וגואלי.
We now turn to Seder Kriyat HaTorah, our Torah reading service.
May my life be one link in a chain of goodness. As I say the prayers of my ancestors, help me to recall their devotion and faithfulness. their joy in suffering, which are in every word. Holiness is my heritage. May I be worthy of it. May our tradition live in me, may pass from me to generations I shall never know, enriched by the truth that I have found and the good deeds I have done. So may I fulfill my task on earth and receive my blessing. And when the service ends and the prayers have ceased, help me bring their spirit into the world in which I live. May I love God above all and my neighbor as myself, and be a living witness to the truth and that never changes.
I now invite Nathan's family to join him, his grandparents, Bob and Judy Devine, his parents, Suzanne and Scott Neidick, and his brothers, Gabe and Skylar.
אין כמוך ואלוהים אדוני ואין כמעשיך מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים וממשלתך בכל דור ודור אדוני מלך אדוני מלך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד Adonai oz lamo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Av harachamim, heitiva virtzoncha et Sion. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, ki b'cha levad batachnu, melech ram v'nisa adon olamim. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Udevar Adonai Mirushalayim.
Thank you, Dad.
Continue to pass the Torah. These words have been passed down from generation to generation for millennia. First, we received these words at Mount Sinai when Moses received them from God, and then Moses passed them on to Joshua, and Joshua passed it on to the leaders of the people. And so, Nathan, you are the link in a very long chain of Jewish tradition. I hope that as you hold these words in your arms, you will commit to carrying on Jewish tradition and Jewish teaching to all those that come after you, whether they be biological family or students or anyone you meet. But you are inheriting something special and something very important. And not only that the entire Jewish people shares, but especially the Beth Chaim family is sharing with you as you are our next generation of family. So as you hold the Torah in your arms, you can now share with us the reading in your book.
In this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it.
Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Lamo Yisrael Bikdushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadlul Adonai iti, Uneromema Shemo Yachtav, לך אדוני הגדולה והגבורה והתפארת והנצח וההוד, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ. לך אדוני הממלכה והמתנשא לכל ראש.
All right, this Shabbat, we are going back in time to May 30th when the Jewish people chanted Parashat Nasso, which contains a number of different sections. One on the vow that a member of the tribes of Israel might take to become a Nazir or a Nazirite, which I'll share a little bit more about in a moment. Also, the priestly blessing, the very same words that we will recite a little later on as Cantor and I bestow our blessing on behalf of the Jewish people to Nathan, and what Nathan will teach us about the ritual laws of the Sota, or the suspected adulteress. And now we will continue with our Torah reading. Nathan, do you have your spot?
Yeah.
Okay. Na la'amod, Shoshana la'aliyah harishona. For the first Aliyah to the Torah, we have Suzanne Neidig.
Baruch Hu Adonai HaBarach.
Baruch Adonai habarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher b'achar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe Lemor. Daber el Aharon ve'el banav Lemor. Ko tevarhu et bnei Yisrael. Amor lahem. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet. V'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. All right, Nathan, you can congratulate your mother on a job well done. And she'll switch sides as we go to our next Aliyah. Na la'amod, simcha la'aliyah hashniya. For our second Aliyah to the Torah, we have Scott Neidig.
No, but you gotta find it. Baruch Hu Adonai HaBarach.
Baruch Adonai barach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher b'achar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yihuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yisem lecha shalom. V'samu et shemi al bnei Yisrael v'ani avarachem.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet. V'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. All right, Nathan, you can congratulate your dad on a job well done. All right, and your dad is going to switch sides, and we're going to take a break in our Torah reading service to recite Misha Berach, our prayer for healing. It's our custom at Congregation Beth Chaim to share the names of anyone in our lives who are in need of healing. So you are free to type in the chat box if there is someone you are keeping in your thoughts and prayers, and this could be healing of the body, healing of the mind, healing of the heart, or healing of the soul. And so we will invoke the names of our ancestors as we join together in Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Nala Amod, Bar HaMitzvah Natan, Micha Mibet Simcha V'Shoshana La Aliyah Hashlishit. For our third and final Aliyah to the Torah, I invite Nathan Nidek as he is surrounded by his parents.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah. Vayehi b'yom kalot Moshe v'hakim et hamishkan. Vayimshach oto v'kadesh oto v'et kol kelav v'et hamizbeach v'et kol kelav vayimshachim v'kadesh otam. Vayekrivu nesiyei Israel Roshei Beit Abratam Haim nesiyei hamatot Haim hamdim al hakudim. Vayaviu et korbanam lifnei Adonai sheish eglot sav u'shnei yasar bakar agala al shnei hansiim v'shor lechad vayekrivu otam lifnei hamishkan. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. All right, now your parents get to congratulate you on a job well done. We'll now invite up your brothers, Skylar and Gabe, to help lift, dress, and hold the Torah scroll.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 לה
In just a moment, we are going to hear Nathan chant his Haftarah portion from the book of Judges about a very famous man named Samson, also known as the Samson who fell in love with Delilah. And the verses that Nathan will be chanting for us this morning are the miraculous birth of the judge Samson, who was a Nazirite from birth, which meant that he could never cut his hair or touch the fruit of the vine, so neither grape juice nor wine. Of course, when he fell in love with Delilah, it became what seemed to be his downfall, although he was still ultimately able to save Israelite. All right, we're ready for the Haftarah when you are ready, Nathan.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'char b'nvi'im tovim, v'rasa v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habacher b'torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'v'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Vayehi ish echad mitzara'ah mimishpachat hadani u'shemo Manoach v'ishto akara v'lo yolada vayera malach Adonai ahal isha vayomer eleha hinena et akara v'lo yoladet v'harit v'yoladet ben. Ve'ata isha mrina v'lo tishti yayin v'shechar v'lo tichli kol tameh. Baruch atah Adonai Elohim melech haolam tzor kol haolamim tzadik b'chol hadarot ha'el hane'eman haomer ve'osei hamdaber u'mkayeh shekol devarav emet v'tzedek. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nvi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu liktushav linuha v'chavod u'tifaret. Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu nachnu modim lach u'mvarchim otach yitbarach shimcha ve'fi kol chai tamid le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha'shabbat.
Amen. We'll now return the Torah to her resting place, and after that, we will hear Nathan teach us some words of Torah.
Etz Chaim hi למחזיקים בך, ותומכיה מאושר, דרכיה דרכי נועם, וכל נתיבותיה שלום. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה, חדש חדש ימינו, חדש ימינו כקדם.
The Torah portion I chanted is Parashat Nasso, found in the book of Numbers. This portion has a lot of laws, including what to do if a husband suspects his wife of adultery but has no proof. This portion is well known because it contains a priestly blessing. Also, it explains when Aaron became the high priest with the help of Moses, and the Eternal One spoke to Moses and to Aaron and his sons. It is also about removing those in the Israelite camp who suffer from certain diseases and about what to do when someone dies. This Torah portion reminds me of the importance of women. In it, there is an ordeal called a sota, which was used when husbands thought their wives had committed adultery. In these cases, the husband would bring his wife to the temple in Jerusalem. There she would drink a special concoction, and if she was found guilty, soon afterward, the wife's stomach would drop and her thighs would fall off. If that didn't happen, the couple would be expected to live their lives like they did before. We know that men and women were not always treated equally in the Torah. However, the ritual of the sota was an attempt to protect women and help them in a sticky situation. I'm glad today women are treated more equally than in Torah times, with even more protection that we see in this story. For example, women can vote, hold a powerful position, and get people to do good things and have freedom in their lives. For instance, my mom is a strong, independent woman, makes her own wise decisions, and has a job. This Torah portion reminds me that women have a big contribution to society, but despite their lack of rights throughout history. Becoming B'nai Mitzvah means to me that I now have responsibilities in the Jewish community, such as being able to take part in a minyan. A minyan is a group of at least 10 Jewish adults which is required to say the prayer mourner's Kaddish. Anyone who is b'nai mitzvah, age or older, can be counted in a minyan, which is a great mitzvah. In the future, for me as a Jew, I will be able to go to services and participate in them and even go on with my Jewish learning. I didn't always know why my parents sent me to religious school, but it was because they wanted me to learn the customs and traditions of the Jewish religion. Also, they wanted me to learn about religions in general, such as Christianity, Islam, and even Hinduism. That is what becoming b'nai mitzvah means to me. During my preparation for my bar mitzvah, I did some charity work. I volunteered at the American Heart Walk, which I have been doing for many years, and I volunteered at a food drive called Arm in Arm. I chose these mitzvah projects to be active in the community and to work for good causes. And because of the charity work, I decided to donate some money to Make-A-Wish Foundation instead of party favors. I like to thank people who helped me become bar mitzvah, my mom and dad, all the rabbis who I have known at Beth Chaim, Rabbi Wisnia, Rabbi Bricklin Small, Rabbi Blum, and Rabbi Beal. Also Anne, along with Cantor Binder too. I want to also thank the congregation for their thoughtful gift. Last but not least, I would like to thank my brothers Sky and Gabe, and thank you all for helping me celebrate today.
So with the gift in view, we'll now hear again from Marshall Kisner.
Nathan, it is my privilege to present you with this gift from the Sisterhood, Men's Club, and the Board of Directors of Beth Chaim. It's an artist's rendering of your Torah portion. I hope this gift captures the beauty and complexity of our sacred teachings and that you will remember the significance of this day whenever you view it. We've been honored to have you lead our congregation in worship this morning. Becoming b'nai mitzvah is an important step on your journey to Jewish adulthood. We look forward to celebrating with you again at the end of 10th grade when you are confirmed. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
All right, thank you, Marshall. And Nathan, we can put the gift down and you can take a really deep breath. There's a little bit more left, but you have accomplished so very much in our last hour or so together. And so I want to share some words with you. I want to go back to a piece of your Torah portion on the Nazarite, which was a vow that a member of ancient Israel could take upon themselves. It was a commitment that they would make. And it reminds us of the importance of following through on our promises and our commitments. And I want to acknowledge in front of your family and friends and community how you have followed through on your commitments leading up to this day. And we know that those commitments sometimes changed or shifted, especially as we entered a global pandemic, and how we were going to be able to celebrate had to be reimagined. But you have rolled with the punches, even this morning alone when we skipped over one of your readings or another reading got maybe confused. You, with poise, just kept plowing ahead and never missed a beat. You come off as someone who is a man of few words, but I just want to say that behind that quiet facade is someone who is dedicated and clearly follows through on your commitments as you have studied and practiced and become the poised bar mitzvah that we see today. I love that of all the aspects of your Torah portion, you were drawn to the plight of the Sotah. And you and I had conversations about how this might not seem like a feminist teaching today, but that it was actually pretty revolutionary at the time that it was composed. And in a family with big brothers, you have clearly learned what it is to be a man and a mensch, which is to care for those who may need caring for, those members of our society who may be marginalized or oppressed, and to really look out for them. And you have such an incredible role model in your mom as someone who is strong and also has taught you what it means to be a mensch. And so I want to finish my words for you this morning with our priestly blessing. which, like I mentioned earlier, has been passed from generation to generation until today. And Cantor and I next will be blessing you with these same exact words that appear in your Torah portion. And I want to remind everyone of the important chain of tradition that you represent, not only at Beth Chaim, but in the Jewish people. And may you really take these words of blessing to heart, especially its conclusion with shalom, with peace, that you experience peace and wholeness throughout your life, and that you help to bring peace and wholeness to the broken world that we live in. And so now I'll invite Cantor Binder to join me as we share this blessing with you.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you be blessed with peace.
Amen. Simen tov u'mazel tov, v'simen tov, simen tov u'mazel tov, v'simen tov, simen tov u'mazel tov, v'simen tov, yehelanu. Yehelanu, yehelanu, lechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, u'lechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, lecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael.
I now invite our guests this morning to unmute themselves so they can shower you with praise and congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Nathan. Great job.
Thanks.
Mazel tov, Nathan.
Thank you.
Mazel tov, Nathan. We are so very proud of you, and our service will now continue with the Allenum Prayer.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Why should I wish to see God better than this day? I see something of God in each hour of the 24 and each moment then. In the faces of men and women, I see God, and in my own face in the glass. I find letters from God dropped in the street, and every one is signed by God's name. And I leave them where they are, for I know where so I go. Others will punctually come forever and ever.
We'll now turn to the words of Mourner's Kaddish. And this Shabbat, we are remembering the following loved ones who are no longer with us: Garrett Christino, Nathan's grandparents, Herman and Rhoda Neidick, and Mackenzie Neidick. Please join me in the words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon u'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'yimru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevarach Alam U'almei Almaya Yit Barach V'yish Tabach V'yit Pa'ar V'yit Romam V'yit Naseh V'yit Hadar V'yit Ale V'yit Halal Shmei Dekudisha Brichu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shiratam Tushbechata V'nechemata Ta'amiran B'yama V'imru Amen Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya Chaim Alinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Alinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Now, Nathan, you can lift up your Kiddush cup, our symbol of joy, as you lead us in the blessing.
All came Baruch Adonai et Yom HaShabbat, Vayikar Shehu. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei Peri Hagafim.
Amen. And if you've got some bread handy, all right, a beautiful challah this morning.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen. And you can notch on that while Cantor leads us in a closing song, and then we'll join together in a closing benediction.
Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Immeru Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael.
Nathan, may you always go from strength to strength and find success in all that you do. Know that your Beth Chaim family is incredibly proud of you today, as I'm sure are all of your family and friends with you here. Mazel Tov and Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.